What would you, look at this. This is cute. And you are tempted, by the way, to just start talking with the dog and like you doing hand motions. But this is Fifi. And what would you do if your pet at home got sick, but you couldn't get to a great vet like Marty Becker? Are there ever things in your house that you could give them, things in your medicine cabinet in an emergency? Well, our vet, our best vet, Dr. Marty Becker, is here with us today. And Marty, this is a very good thing because I've talked to a lot of people about pets and what they give their pets. We're talking about aspirin, ibuprofen, acetaminophen. We'll start there. Ever okay?
First of all, what we're going to talk about today is not a substitute to seeing your veterinarian.
Absolutely.
Here's what might happen. Hurricane Katrina.
Right.
A heavy snowstorm.
Sure.
It's late at night.
You're on vacation.
It's a holiday. You're driving between towns.
Yeah.
And you can't get to the veterinarian.
Right.
And so these are products designed where you would call a veterinarian, ask for a recommendation, and probably do a follow-up visit. But
you should at least talk to them. Even if you're going to give your vet something from the house, you should at least have talked to your vet.
Call the vet first. Okay.
All right. And so the aspirin, acetaminophen, ibuprofen, ever okay to give them? Because I know people who do.
No, and no.
No, and no.
4 no's.
Okay.
And here's what, because all those products, unless you talk to a veterinarian, can cause problems. Last year, 10,000 calls to ASP, Animal Poison Control, because of people giving these medications to their pet. Sometimes your veterinarian may tell you to do it, but they'll tell you the proper dosage to use.
Because remember, I mean, I'm almost 200 pounds. Fifi's probably like, 10 pounds, if that. So you can't give them things like that.
And I'm still a practicing veterinarian. I actually see those kind of problems myself from people trying to do that.
I bet you do. Regular household stuff, cotton swabs. Can you ever use anything like this? Flour, anything on the dog?
What we just want to tell you here, it might be everything from a pet that has, chronic diarrhea where you use electrolytes with Gatorade, canned pumpkin for a cat with hairball. They got a wound, you might put a little KY jelly to prevent contamination on the way to the veterinarian. But there's just lots of stuff we want to talk about that your veterinarian may ask you to use that's in your cupboard.
Ever okay to use Q-tips to clean their ears?
Not so much for the ears, but I'm going to show you a really good use for it down here for what to use for a torn nail.
And for foods that we eat. We sometimes think if it's good for us, it's good for the dog, but it's not always true.
I'll tell you what, a lot of times you're going to end up on your hands and knees cleaning up a mess if you give something off the table or end up in a veterinary emergency room, which you don't want to do.
It's just better to let them love the cat food and dog food that they have. Tell me a little bit about Benadryl, because if dogs have allergies, how do you know, and would you do that?
Here's the other time you might need to use something. It might be an emergency. There's an allergic reaction or a pet poisoning, and your vet needs you to start treatment before you go to the veterinary hospital. Just last week, my daughter Mikkel with her little pug, Bruce, pushed in face, hard to breathe in the summertime, got into a dead mouse carcass that had bees on it, and the bees stung the dog in the muzzle. Your veterinarian may tell you to use Benadryl. 25 milligrams for a dog under 30 pounds, 50 milligrams from 30 to 80 pounds. All the dosages and the usage we're going to have on abcnews.com, so you don't have to memorize these. But you call your veterinarian, they would tell you how much to give you.
But Benadryl is okay if you know your dog is having an allergic reaction to something. A tiny amount would be okay.
That's something your vet might tell you.
I see you have hydrogen peroxide here. What would we do that?
3 weeks ago at North Idaho Animal Hospital. Somebody calls up and says, my dog just got into decon, so rat poisoning, mouse poisoning, slug bait. Sometimes they'll tell you to use this, so you give hydrogen peroxide, 1 teaspoon for 5 pounds of body weight, cause them to vomit the decon back up.
Happens all the time. The pets are in the yard, so if they get into a poison and you've called your vet to say we're on our way, they might tell you to induce this dog or a dog like this to throw up. Gotcha. Okay, PEPTO-BISMOL.
So we're talking about stomach upset in dogs. Can't use this in cats because it has aspirin-like substance.
Never use PEPTO-BISMOL in cats, but you can in dogs.
Vomiting or diarrhea works very well. And here you got a cut, or you can use cornstarch or regular household flour. Use a little Q-tip here, and they have one of those little claws that they've torn and is bleeding. You dip it down in here, and you put it right up here on the end of the thing, and that stops the bleeding.
And it'll save the carpet and the floor and everything else, because you're not having the dog or cat walk around with blood all over the floor all the time. Okay, that's smart.
Bee sting, you make a paste with baking soda. It neutralizes the venom in the venom sac. Then take a little credit card. You just gently scrape the venom sac off, so you make a little paste, let it dry, scrape it off with a credit card.
That's exactly, by the way, that's the one thing you would do for you and I if we had a bee sting. You do the same thing for your pet. Okay, and then finally I see some eye wash solution.
Now you think about, I've got a wound, how am I going to flush it out? I don't have sterile saline in my house, do I? Yes, you do. Contact lens solution.
That's exactly what it is.
Saline.
And there's no other chemicals in it, but just in most cases it's just sterile saline. So you can use it to rinse out if a dog's gotten in a fight or a scrape or something like that.
An eye on a wound, but again, your veterinarian will tell you to use it, then go take your pet to see the veterinarian.
Dr. Marty Becker, I thank you. Fifi thanks you. If you need any of the tips, Marty's tips, you can get them from our website, abcnews.com. Just click on GMA. And by the way, dogs like Fifi, you can get them right here in the New York, the Humane Society of New York. That's where all the pets that come on our show are from, and you can check your local Humane Society.